kick right in front of the goal, and it's in.
Second, cuts to the corner, takes the shot, he scores!
Connellsville. In goal this evening, a senior number 16, Hunter Brown. At midfield, a senior number 2, William Gillott. At midfield, a senior number 4, Carson Colburn. At midfield, a junior number 5, Tyler Burke. At defense, a freshman number 6, Tucker Beeman. At midfield, a junior number 8, Jace Kratchik. At midfield, a freshman number 15, Connor Basinger. At midfield, a senior number 17, Landon Lynn. On defense, a senior number 18, Matthew Urey. On defense, a sophomore number 25, Tristan Heidemann. And finally, for Connellsville, a midfielder, sophomore number 26, Robbie Deason. Connellsville is coached by head coach Brian Cartwright, assisted by Skylar Schellenberger and Luke Pepperack. And now for the starting lineups for tonight's Peters Township Indians. In goal this evening, a sophomore number 60, Brendan Seaman. At defender, a sophomore number 2, Colin Exley. At midfield, a senior number 3, Brady Rose. At defender, a senior number 8, Braden Apple. At midfield, a junior number 9, Cole Saladonia. At striker, a senior number 10, Anthony Maiello. At midfield, a senior number 11, Cam Glass. At defender, a junior number 14, Luke Evans. At striker this evening, a senior number 18, Caleb Sauter. At midfield, a senior number 21, Colin Freilich. And finally, for the Indians, a defender, senior number 33, Colby Zimmer. Peters Township Indians are coached by head coach Bobby Dyer, assisted by Lucas Heasley, Ryan Kelly, Tim Kane, Mario and Nico Mastriangelo. It has been our custom at Peters Township on this particular date 24 years ago. We'd like to have a moment of silence in memory of the 2,977 souls that were lost on this tragic day in 9/11. These players were not even born at that point, but we'd like to take the moment to recognize the date. One of our past soccer players who started in the state championships team in 1987 and 1988 was a lone survivor in the Pentagon Naval Office that day. He played with our head coach on those teams, Bobby Dyer. May tolerance and kindness return to our country.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Confluence Partners Stadium, the home of your Peters Township Indians. Your Indians tonight will take on the Connellsville Falcons. Connellsville Area High School, located southeast, about 33 miles as the crow flies, but of course none of us fly like that. So about an hour and 5 minutes southeast. I'm Ven Kelly, your host. Standing to my right is everyone's favorite senior, Connor Seaman. Senior Seaman, how are you this evening?
I'm wonderful. It's a beautiful night, a little bit warmer than it has been these past couple nights, and It's a great night to play. Hopefully we'll be able to see some guys we haven't seen a lot of off the bench tonight. So it's going to be a good night for the program, good night in the booth. Just a great night to be watching some soccer.
Connor, we had some new faces come out there for the starting lineup, some of the players who haven't gotten the start before. Why don't you go through the lineup as you see it?
We did, and I think perhaps the most notable addition to the starting lineup starts in our first spot with sophomore goaltender Brendan Seaman making his first ever varsity start and appearance tonight. He's been working really hard in camp all year, and as my brother, it's really, really nice to see him get that start. Hopefully he'll be able to build his confidence here and have a pretty good night before Rocco probably comes in for the second half.
Very nice. That's great big brother sentiment too, man. I love it. Okay, you want to go through the rest of the lineup? It's Cole Celadonia's lining up to take this kick.
Absolutely. At center back tonight, we've got Colin Exley and Luke Evans. Colby Zimmer is going to play that right back. Braden Apple returns to his normal spot on the left. Up in the midfield, we've got Brady Rose, Cam Glass, and it looks like Colin Freilich lining up at the 10. Out on the left wing, Caleb Sauter makes his first start of the season. He's a senior. You love to see him get involved right off the bat. Anthony Maiello starts at striker, and it looks like Cole Celedonia is going to be our starting right wing today as Cam plays it out, looking for Selly and just hits it a little bit too hard.
Okay, so Peters Township with the ball, with possession, and threatening, though nothing too bad right off the bat here. What are we expecting out of this game tonight, Connor? We talked a little bit about score predictions and such. Are we expecting a close game, or are we expecting a pretty mismatched game tonight?
Well, you never want to go into a game not taking the opponent as seriously as
Very
you can.
agreed with that.
However, this game, history has shown, demographics have shown, and just talent shows that as the first, Brady Rose almost opens the scoring.
And Cam Glass.
Cam Glass very nearly does as well.
Tries to put it right back in. Goes a little bit left of the goalpost, but definitely some threatening happening right now for Peters Township. And go ahead with your predictions on this game here.
And that's exactly what we're going to see all night. This is just Connellsville doesn't even have a JV team in their program. It's good for them that they're able to get out, but just mismatched in quad A play. It's one of those things where we're going to get to see a lot of the JV guys in the second half, and I predict this one being something 7 or 8-0 as Rose breaks through in the midfield here looking for the first.
He passes off to Freilich. Freilich coming down. Almost trips up. Finally gives it up to one of the Connellsville Falcons. Falcons, by the way. Connellsville Falcons, if I didn't mention. Always a cool logo.
So many blue and white bird schools in the Pittsburgh area, I feel. Connellsville Falcons, South Park Eagles.
Freilich with the shot. Goes a little bit wide to the right. Yeah, as far as mascots go, Falcons are always good. So, the goaltender in pink kicks it out to Colin Freilich. Okay, so I did have a definitive answer on the Freilich question. It is emphatically Froelich, F-R-O. Okay, Cole Celedonia tries to get his foot on it, kick it in, but doesn't quite connect with it. Connellsville player goes down briefly, gets right back up. Now, Mello with the ball, passes it off to Freilich. Froelich, I just said it too. Froelich looking for someone. He's going to pass it back off to Cole. Cole's going to cross it in for Mello. Mello off his knee, and then he tries the bicycle kick. Why not? A little bit wide of goal and not really too much of a threat, but I always love the attempt.
And Colin Froelich had a very, very good night on Tuesday against Kanamakan, a 1-0 win at Kanamakan, probably the single biggest game of the season if you ask any of these Peters Township players. That's the biggest rivalry, and that away game is always one that you want to take 3 points from, especially in what looks to be shaping up as a 2-horse section race this year between Peters Township and Cannon-McMillan.
Yeah, agreed. And Colin had just a beautiful goal. He was cutting across to his left, and he took the left-footed shot, and it just went over. Goaltender was out of his box just enough, and Colin just snuck it in over his head. It was beautiful. So a really big win there on Tuesday night. But now it's Thursday, and we've got Maiello on the ball. Maiello gets it out. Is that Sauter out there?
That is Caleb Sauter cutting in, putting a guy on his back.
Caleb Sauter out there for getting the start for the Indians tonight. Brady Rose getting it out to Bappel. Bappel dribbling, and Bappel wants one. I think that someone like Braden Apple, you can kind of sense it in a game like this. Maybe he feels like there's a little bit more opportunity to put something on the board.
He certainly feels like there's an opportunity to put one on the board, but tonight these starters are going to be hungry to get their goals and get them early because they know that as soon as this gets 3-4, they're all getting yanked, whether it's 10 minutes in or once we get into the second half. But Bob's going to keep the pressure on until the game's decidedly out of hand, and then he starts going way down the bench.
All right, well, it's still even right now, 0-0. Nothing doing in the first 5 or so minutes. Ball in, though. Mello looking for it, headed out only as far as Cam Glass. Glass gets a foot on it. Froelich gets back out to Celedonia. Selly puts it in, and okay. Nice shot on target from Cam Glass, but goaltender right there to just scoop it up into his gut, and he's back up, going to kick it out. So ball up in the air and comes down right at the 50, bouncing. First time Connellsville has had it in Indians territory at all, but taken off fairly quickly. We've got it up to Mello. Mello skirts it off to a little bit. Over to Sauter. Sauter trying to get something out of this, and he does. He turns it back to Mello. Maiello. He's going to get past his 2 defenders. Tries to cross it in, but a 3rd defender there stops it, and Connellsville kicks it back out. Brady Rose. Brady looking. RJ Bush. Bush, yes?
That is Colby Zimmer.
Oh, Colby Zimmer, okay.
Bush, making his first varsity start of the season. I believe his first varsity start full stop.
So Froelich crosses it in as far as the goaltender. Is RJ injured?
I don't believe RJ's injured. I think this is one of Bobby in practice this week said that there were a number of guys who have deserved starts, but because of the top-heavy schedule, haven't been able to get them, and he wanted to use tonight to work them in and get them into that starting 11. So I think Sauter, Brendan Seaman in goal, and then Colby Zimmer out on the right are those names.
Gotcha. Cole Celedonia taking the opportunity to burn a man there. Zimmer coming up with the ball. He wants one. Why not? Okay, and gets a corner kick out of that one. So sometimes good things happen. Ball wasn't on target, but the goaltender actually fumbled it outside of his box, just rolled right out on him, so wins a corner kick out of it. Let's see what Peters Township Indians can make out of this. Braden Apple on the ball here. Braden arms up. Left-footed boot into the box. And a nice head ball, not quite on target, but I think that was maybe Rose that went up and got that. Not sure if you saw better, Connor, but looked like Brady from here.
I think it was Brady. I couldn't tell if it was Brady or Mello, but looked a little bit taller than Mello, so I'm going with Brady on that one.
Gotcha. I'll go with you.
And granted, we're only 7 minutes and change into this one, but just as this game goes along, if Peters Township keeps getting close but no cigar for this first goal, that's when it's going to get a little bit harder, and Connellsville is going to start feeling themselves a little bit more, where the more chances you miss, the harder every chance gets, and the more pressure that is on every little bit in this one.
Yeah, well, here comes Selly, and kicks it right to the goaltender. Goaltender fumbles, but no one there to really clean it up. So Peters taking lots of shots. You got to figure one of them's going to go in here before too long. It does seem like there was a game last year that Peters Township played. I believe it was against Trinity. There might have been another one I'm thinking of, but I think it was against Trinity that everyone kind of figured. Now here's Mello with the ball. Winding up. Still working. Ball taken off him. Froelich takes it. Froelich out to Selly. Cole Celedonia on the ball. Looking. Takes a shot. But right to the goal keep, so nothing doing there. But in any case, yeah, I believe it was Trinity that, maybe we were just kind of not really playing up to snuff, and I believe Trinity scored first, and the game ended up being a tie, I believe, if I'm remembering right. Kind of what felt like, I think, a big win for Trinity and kind of a big loss for us in that we just did not pick it up. Now, you know more about that game than I do.
Certainly did, and in fact, it felt even worse knowing that we were the ones who escaped with the result. Normally, if a 1-1 or 0-0 draws grinded out by a lower classification team like Trinity got there, they're the ones feeling lucky and like they escaped with the good result. Meanwhile, Trinity deserved to win that game the way that they played. They had a couple chances go begging, and we just didn't convert on all but one of our chances, and you felt that Trinity really deserved more than a single point out of that game. But that was one of our probably worst performances of the 3 or 4 years I've been involved in the program.
Yep. Yeah, it was an interesting night for sure. But I'm sure a good learning experience for the whole team out there.
And I believe Trinity is on the schedule this year as well. I think
is that
on
right?
October 3rd, I want to say, is the date of the game at Trinity this year.
Well, it'll be interesting. Here's Mello with the ball, puts it towards the goal. Oh, nice strike by Cam Glass there. He had everything on it. Goaltender was able to get his hand on it and make the save. But some pretty good stuff goes out for a corner kick. So Trinity, the goaltender that I knew last year, he will be gone. He was a senior last year. He made some big saves in that game.
Yeah, and that game will be one that I expect to be a little bit more comfortable this year, especially as the players from last year look for some revenge.
Braden Apple puts it up. Froelich has the ball. Gets it back out to Braden. Apple wants it, but takes a swing. And actually, ball still bouncing inbounds. Looked like it was for sure headed out, but stays in. So Peters Township trying to corral now. Believe that's Sauter with it. Sauter puts it back in the box. Cole Celedonia coming in from the end. And ball out of play. Peters Township throw.
You know, the longer this one goes on scoreless, the more restless and frustrated the players on the bench are. And that's one of the things that doesn't get talked about a lot in these sorts of games, where if it's not a blowout from the first whistle, the guys on the bench who they're itching to get in, they know they don't have a lot of time, and these 80 minutes tonight might be their one window. They want to get out there as soon as possible. And so that's another thing that can really be difficult about a game like this, is if you're not jumping on them right away, you start to feel a little bit of that support from your bench get leached as they start to get a little frustrated and antsy to get in the game.
Yeah. Well, here comes Froelich to partner Maiello. Maiello taking a shot from distance. Doesn't quite get everything he wanted on that one, but still peppering the goaltender, as you would expect. But you might also expect that by now something would have gone into the back of the net, so we are getting to that point where it feels like Peters needs to score here. They've got the talent. They know how to do it. And sometimes you end up playing a little bit down to your team, so I'm sure that Bobby doesn't want to see that happening.
Good strength by Zimmer there.
Celedonia out to get the ball in the corner. Defender kicks it more or less into the middle where Froelich picks it up. Froelich defended well there and then kicked out for a throw-in. Braden Apple. Braden kicks it towards goal. Oh, had Selly right there, but Cole not quite able to get his foot on that one. Very good effort by Braden. I sense that Braden wants to score. I feel like every time he gets that ball, he's looking to shoot it at the goal. That time, I think he kind of laid off and tried to get it to Selly, but
yeah, he's certainly looking for a goal. He's been a little bit hard done by some posts and good saves early in the season, keeping him from opening his account on the year. So a game like tonight's one that he's been probably eyeing for a long time, looking to get one.
Froelich looking to get back to Cole. Cole gets it over to Cam Glass. Cam has a number 2 player jump over him. So it goes to Brady Rose. Brady to Bappel. Bappel coming down. His man falls down, so he's going to keep going. He's going to keep going, and he's going to get it in. Kind of gets it over to Maiello, but I don't think Maiello was really able to pick up on it, so man in pink comes up with it again. He's going to have a lot of action tonight, this guy. Luke Evans with his chest or something on the ball there. Got it out. Caleb Sauter working over on the end, but it goes out for a Connellsville throw. And again. Sauter. Maelo trying to catch up with it, but instead it's just kicked out. Braden Apple. Let's see if he'll throw this one deep or if he's just going to go for one of his closer guys. He goes closer in for Mello.
That, I feel, is a wasted opportunity there to get one into the box. We know we have the superiority in the air. That's one where I'm guessing Coach Dyer over on the sideline would have liked to see it launched into the box and just see if we could win one in the chaos.
Yeah, it kind of feels like they're if they just picked up the energy here just a little bit, they'd get something going, but they're just kind of lagging a little bit energetically here. Maybe not making the best choices.
And that little bit of sharpness in front of goal is something that's really hard to keep in these games where you know that you're supposed to win. You really know that you're going to win unless something miraculous happens, which Connellsville on the attack here.
Number 4, kind of stuttering a little bit out there, but still with the ball and kicked out by Peters, so it's Connellsville throw.
But that's what's going to be dangerous here. Peters Township just getting a little bit complacent, thinking that this game is already won with the score at 0s, and Connellsville just one moment away from, and right there,
yeah.
Brady Rose the coach is yelling out at him to just get that one out there, and that's that little bit of complacency and that little lack of sharpness that's going to be dangerous for Peters tonight. Just assuming the game's already been won with the players on the field rather than the balls in the net.
Agreed. So Brother Brendan getting his first touch on the ball. Kicks it out, and now it's down where it's been most of this evening so far, bouncing around Connellsville, 20-yard line. Colin Exley getting one of his first touches on it as well. Now it's getting sent back down. Connellsville gets their head on it. Froelich collecting. Gets it to Cam Glass. Froelich now attacking. Froelich wants one. But a defender right in front of him. Gets it out to Glass. Glass wants one. He's not going to get it. Tries to get it out to Cole. But not before Connellsville gets there first. Number 4 in white gets it out to number 2 in white. Number 2, he's going to get it up to number 17.
Oh. Brendan, use your hands.
Okay, so brother telling Brendan to use his hands. Brendan Seaman instead kind of slides it and boots it. And now, dangerous stuff out there. So Connellsville goaltender goes down without actually corralling it. Ball is kind of bouncing around out there, but no one able to get it into the net. Instead, it goes to the wrong side of the post.
Looks like Keaton Kelly coming on here, replacing
Cole Celedonia. Yes, I believe so.
No, Brendan there needs to use his hands. He knows that he needs to use his hands, and that's something that I'm sure Coach Lucas Heasley is going to make sure that he knows next time he's over by the bench.
Nice. So ball in. Luke Evans giving chase here. And he's just going to kick it up and let it roll out of bounds. Connellsville throw. Ball in. And Connellsville getting it upfield. Luke Evans going to kick it back down. Keaton Kelly with his first touch on the ball. He's going to go. Oh, he gets it through. Okay, he gets it to Mello. Mello looking. He's going to try to break this wall he's got in front of him. Keaton gets it instead. Number 11, Cam Glass. Both players go down. Nothing called, nothing there. Sauter. Sauter fighting to keep this ball in and instead kicks it off the Connellsville player. Peters Township throw. Caleb Sauter with the throw. Mello on the ball. Maelo, 3 guys on him. Sauter. Ball goes out. for a goal kick. Nope.
Corner
One calls
kick
corner. Okay, so it was called corner.
And I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more action than Keaton on the bench here, because normally in these sorts of situations, Coach Bobby's looking for somebody off the bench to really provide that energy that we were talking about and really give this game a spark. But that's something to watch for now as we get close to 20 minutes elapsed, scoreless.
Well, let's see. Of course, as the father of number 6, I would love to see Keaton come in and change this game here pretty quickly. We talked about it a little bit. I think he, a little earlier on in the evening, I'll say, was not taking it quite seriously enough. What I indicated to him was, hey, this is your time to really, really let it go, man. Try to get something out of this game. Don't take these guys lightly, in other words.
These games, in some respects, are the hardest to score in because there's none of that force, and that looks like Charlie Lulich coming on for Caleb Sauter. Is that how you see that one?
Yeah, that's how I see it.
But these games are some of the hardest to score because there's none of that force sharpness. For example, on Tuesday night against Canamac, as Mello cuts in here.
Mello gets it over. Keaton's gonna get his foot on it, and he rolls it off the side of his foot. Oh, really nice attempt there, but a nice save by the goaltender.
Keaton with a really good flick there. Good save. This keeper standing on his head. That is his 10th save of the night.
Anthony Maiello with a nice little cross to Keaton. But goaltender makes a great save, so score still zeros. Number 4, fighting against number 11, Cam Glass. Never an easy battle. Oh, Connellsville trying to get past that 30. Can't quite get there. Now here's Charlie. Charlie gets the ball. Froelich coming down. He's pointing towards Charlie, and he gets him. Charlie out on the edge. Bringing it into the box. Charlie wants one. He's going to kick it into the middle. Bouncing around. Froelich.
There we go.
And there's the score. And, man, that was the kind of score that, just kind of seemed like, okay, let's finally just get this in, okay? Let's stop messing around. That's exactly what that seemed like there.
21 minutes in, Froelich with his second game in a row with the score, his 3rd goal of the season. Really well taken half volley there, nothing the keeper could have done. And that's one that you feel like that might settle this game down a bit. Obviously, Peters Township doesn't want it to stay a 1-goal game for very long, but you just doubt that Connellsville will have that firepower to even get one back and keep this one a contest. So that goal really feels like it might break the dam.
Yeah, Connor, I'm predicting that it opens the floodgates here. I could be proven wrong over the next 5 minutes, but I just feel like, okay, that's the kind of goal. It's like, yeah, okay, here we are. We know what we're supposed to be doing. So, again, Froelich. Maiello on the ball. Anthony. Out to Charlie. Lulich kicks it into the middle, but enough defenders there to block it out. Number 5 on the ball. Gets it up to his number 17, but only as far as Bappel on the ball there. Ball back in. Keaton's looking. Keaton's. Gets called for a high kick. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Either that or off. No, it looks like the dangerous play signal is up. Yep. That's one where just unfortunate from Keaton there. If he lets it come down a little more to avoid getting called for the dangerous play, it's headed out. And so just a tough spot for him. Nothing really to look into there. Just an unfortunate spot and gets a little unlucky.
I'll let him go with that one. So Colin Froelich. Bringing it down the side. Charlie gets a little tap on it, but Maiello has to run out to try to get this, and he does. Nope. It's out of bounds, and it's a white throw. So Falcons. Ball in, but 3 red shirts there, and ball back out. 17 minutes remaining in the half. Plenty of time left. Bappel looking. He gets a big cross in. Keaton's going to chase it down. Keaton's going to bring it back. Looking to maybe get something in the middle to Fro. Fro was able to not quite bring it down, but here he goes again.
And well cleared by the Connellsville defender. They're not easy going over the shoulder to make that connection with the right foot, but a really, really vital intervention because if he misses there, then froze on for his second.
All right, Melo. Out to Keaton. Keaton manages not to get called with another dangerous high kick there. And wins the corner. So Bappel out to the corner to take this ball. Ball boy dropping it right in place there, doing a good job. Braden Apple. Big ball up. It's going to cross all the way over and hit Cam Glass's head. Is that right?
Cam puts it back into Luke Evans, and Luke Evans just tough to generate power on that one. Pretty easy save, comfortable from the goalkeeper there. Nothing much Luke could have done. Just that little blooping ball. Really, really difficult to generate power on it. And that far from goal, it's going to be tough to score there always.
Agreed. Keaton able to let the ball pass him by. Now he's going. He's using his speed. He's going to try to get something out of this. Instead, it gets kicked out by their center back for a throw in. Ball in. Up to Mello's head. Up to Glass's head. Off a defender's foot, Glass's head again. Froelich. Mello. Glass. And ball out of play. A couple of subs for Connellsville going in there. Big number 9 and big number 23 on for player number 15 and player 26.
And something interesting as we get down a little bit closer to halftime here that might not be terribly intuitive if you're not down in the huddles is these players for Keaton here in with a chance. But these players here for Peters who are on the field, they are really, really going to want to add another goal or two here because one thing that you might look as a fan and think, oh, team's up 1-0. Yeah, it hasn't been the cleanest of halves, but you're comfortably better than the opposition as Keaton takes it down in the corner here looking for a cross.
And he gets one to Froelich. Froelich's going to put it almost on net. Oh, no. It did come off a white player, so it's a corner kick.
But they know that if they don't get at least one or two more here before the halftime whistle, then this team talk from Coach Dyer is going to be less than flattering in their performances. So you really don't want to have to deal with that against a team that you know you're comfortably better than. And they're going to want to put one or two more in to try and mitigate that halftime talk.
Ball through the box. Looks like it was Luke Evans with his foot on that. Comes back out. And Cam Glass unable to hit that net, though he's given it quite a few attempts so far this game. You're thinking one is coming for him eventually here. Okay, so we have Nathan. Is that right?
Jake Goenis coming on for Colin Froelich. Yeah, that's number 4, Jake, coming on here.
Gotcha. So Jake Goenis.
He had a very, very good night against Canumac on Tuesday.
Oh, yes, he did.
Including taking a little bit of a shot with an elbow, which was a little worried about his nose. Apparently bled pretty bad, but he says he's okay, and team got the win, so that's all that matters.
Yep. Okay, Luke Evans defending, and that's Colin Exley with his foot on it to clear it out, but not until it hits number 17 in white. Okay, and Zimmer then trying to clear it, and just does. The ball's still kind of down in the Peters Township end of the field here, and what may be kind of dangerous territory if they can get someone with some good touches on this ball to carry it into the box. Number 12, perhaps. Number 12 looking. He does get it in the middle, but finds Peters Township defender. And now the ball's up to center. Striker Anthony Maiello. Charlie running down the side. Anthony has options. He finally chose Bappel, who was running up behind on the right. Bappel dispossessed of the ball, running back to collect it. And then hitting the back and kind of goes off his foot. So
you just feel like this first half from Peters has lacked a little bit of energy. It's just lacked a little bit of that intensity and that speed that I think could be really shown there by Maiello, like in a game against a team that might be slightly better, I feel he might be more inclined to take it as he is now by running at a defender. Can he make up for it with a goal? No, blocked wide.
Had Keaton running with him the whole time. I think Keaton was hoping that Anthony would just kind of cross it back, but ran out of space fairly quickly there. Does win the corner kick. I agree with you. I think there's just something that's, energetically not quite there. Let's see if they can get something off of this corner. Now it becomes a throw-in. Braden Apple will go out to take it, so he can certainly hit the box if he wants.
You have to want a long throw here from Bappel, which it looks like we might get.
Off the head of a Connellsville Falcon, and foul called. Unfortunately, a couple players got tangled up out there, and white player went down. I think that was Jake.
That was Jake. Just a little bit unfortunate. Defender got a body position on him, and nothing really that he can do there more than sort of shoehorned into committing the foul in that case.
So number 19, 18, Connellsville with the ball. Number 4 now. Kicks it off to 17. See what 17 can do. He tries to, that's a hard call for Brady Rose. It kind of looked like 17 just got twisted up in his own feet, and Brady was sort of there. And when 17 went down, they called him for it.
Really dangerous spot here for Peters Township. This might be one of those situations where we were talking about it earlier, where Connellsville, all they need is one, and this game's back tied again. This is going to be really important for Brendan to organize his defense and make sure that the communication's on point.
So ball in, not going to goal. Just trying to chip it into one of his players. Now Keaton's going to get it. Keaton's looking for somebody. He turns it back inside. Keaton off to the races. Now he's going to get it out to Braden Apple. Apple's going to put it in for Mello. Oh, Mello trying to get there. Still kind of there. Keaton has it. Oh! Number 18 came in and kind of slid into Keaton. Keaton wasn't able to get his get control over that ball, but it goes out of bounds for Peters' throw. And again, out of bounds. Zimmer looking to throw it in the box. But he's got Jake coming in closer, so he hits Jake. Jake gets it out to Brady Rose. Brady looking. Brady wants one. Number 18 there to head it out. Charlie winning a throw-in right down there by the corner. We're going to give Mello a little break. So Nathan coming in now. Jake and Nathan, for these old eyes, look similar to me, so I apologize when I get them mixed up out there.
And now with Charlie, Nate, and Jake all in this game now, you have to want one of them to contribute to a goal. Just those fresh legs, that little bit of energy off the bench. You really want to see them get involved and put one in the net, either with a goal or just creating one for an assist.
Instead, Connellsville trying to get it up. And fits and starts. They're managing to keep possession. And Peters Township keeps it in bounds, but only for Connellsville to take over.
And you've seen Peters Township get into these attacks a number of times where just about even numbers running into that space about 30 yards from goal, and it's just been that little bit of a lack of just, I don't want to say creativity, but just lack of that extra something in the final third that would really make this game.
Urgency, I think, might be a word.
Urgency is a very good word for it.
Lack of urgency with this game, and you can understand that, but they've got to figure out a way to dig deep, a little bit deeper, and create that sense of urgency.
It just feels like the Peters Township attack feels that the game's already won and that the goals are going to come just to come. I don't think that as you said, that urgency or that drive to go out and create a goal just doesn't seem to be really there right now with the attack. That hopefully that's something that these bench players who have been listening to the coaching staff likely lament this performance for the last half hour, that's hopefully something that you'll think they'll bring to this game.
Well, with 6:39 left in this game, you got to figure, like you say, if the score stays 1-0, Dyer and his coaching staff are going to do everything they can to instill some urgency into their team. Keaton again having to do a kind of a high kick, gets through 3 guys to win a corner. So let's see if Peters can do something with this one.
Then as Bappel gets ready to put this ball in, if this game stays 1-0 to the half, that presents an interesting dilemma for the coaching staff. Do you leave the starters who have lacked that urgency in just to create that talent gap, or do you bring some bench players who might be hungrier on? Just that sort of dilemma of do you keep your best players out there even if they've been just lacking that little bit of urgency, or do you go with some guys who might be a little bit farther down the totem pole but who are going to really, really want it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it'll be really interesting to see what Bobby does there. He's obviously been in these situations before. So ball comes off Connellsville head and is going to come back out for a corner. But agreed, these, even these corner kicks and these set pieces here just don't seem to have much urgency, much focus. The last one that Braden Apple did kind of bounced through everybody. I saw my boy out there, in the vicinity, but just no one really with the desire, at least enough to get it in the back of the net. This one goes right to the man in pink, who has no problem corralling that, and he's going to boot it out. Mr. Zimmer with the ball. Keaton Kelly on the ball. Keaton working through his man. Keaton looking to get something other than what? Nope, he did get the corner. So you got to think Braden Apple's going to come out to take this one, or no?
Nobody there. Now Charlie Lulich looks to be the one coming over wanting to take the kick.
You think that was a coach decision, or?
It looked to me like Bappel was telling somebody else to take it. Maybe he, after a number of deliveries that maybe haven't gone the way he wanted, and that's a great ball in from Charlie.
Keaton finds the ball with his head. Doesn't quite go where he wants it, but it was a good stuff there. And ball's going to go out for another corner.
But it almost seemed as if Bappel, after a couple deliveries, maybe not going the way he wanted, almost wanted to take himself off it for a second. Relatively mature decision there from the captain to know that maybe things aren't clicking for him. Give somebody else a bite of the pie and see if they can make it a little bit better.
Yeah, I really like it. Ball in. Keaton coming now. Nope. It's going all the way through. Connellsville man in white. Number 4, number 2, number 4. Number 4 is going to get it up to number 5, who's coming up the sideline. So Connellsville on the attack. He's going to try to get a cross in. Oh. So the white player slips out there, and their attack goes awry. Charlie on the ball. Charlie getting a lot out of it. Here's Nathan. Nathan looking to shoot, and he does, and he scores. Very good stuff from Nathan. That's the way to contribute when you come in. Just, go ahead, put it on net.
Absolutely, and that's what this coaching staff wanted when they put him, Jake, and Charlie out. They wanted plays like that. Just having that confidence to go on and take the shot, but not forcing it in a position where they just – that's been the case a couple of times, just trying to force a shot. But Nathan, good patience, good little body fake to create that half step of separation, and then really, really composed finish, especially in a game like today. Really not easy. Very good job by him with 3 minutes to go here in the first half.
Ball well out of play on that one. That'll keep the ball boy working for a little while. Throw in for the Falcons.
Peters Township, second goal of the half, scored by Nathan Nataszewski.
Nathan again on the ball. Nathan and Jake both in the same vicinity, but Zimmer gets his foot on it. Now Nathan again. Nathan working. Nathan looking. Nathan finding Charlie. Charlie looking for a goal now. Charlie and Nathan working well together. And in comes Jake to try to take that shot. Instead finds a wall at white. Ball back to Charlie. Nathan giving chase.
Substitutes combining there a couple of times with some nice interplay in the final third, and that's that creativity and that urgency that we were talking about, just not holding the ball too long, working it with each other, just seeing if somebody else has that little bit of space to really drive the dagger in and get one more.
Jake, Cam Glass looking. He'd love one, I'm sure, but instead he passes it off to Nathan. Nope.
And
White
numbers
puts
up
in
for
the way.
Connellsville here. It's a 3-on-2.
Oh, but Connellsville, number 4, can't get it past Luke Evans. So it's booted back up. Colin Exley with his head on it. Number 2 coming down. But Cam Glass racing out to the side, and he's going to boot it down the line. Out of bounds. It's interesting. Was that out of bounds, or was that Braden Apple looks like he's on the ground over there, and then the ball came and actually ended up hitting him. So what's going on over on that side of the field?
Not sure. The whistle was blown.
Braden's got some sort of cramp or something. keeping him
Trainer's
on the
not
ground
being
over there.
allowed on. He's crawling off. I don't know what this ref's doing here. They wouldn't let the trainer come on. Connor Glass looks to have checked in for him. Really confusing sequence there. Not sure what.
Charlie taking a shot. Goes a little far and wide, but why not? Yeah, I got to think that Braden Apple was maybe starting to cramp up. Maybe that's why he took himself off those corner kicks and just finally decided he had to go down.
Well, it looks like he took a little bit of a sore one. That advantage was played. Didn't really materialize, but the official didn't come back and make the call. You think that might have been what he would have been talking about, sort of gesticulating and a little bit vehement about after the ball hit him. But the whistle before the ball hit him, a little confusing, especially since the ball went right back to Peters Township. So you have to think it wasn't a ball out of play. Bringing into the first half, that's just been a little weird. I think it's
A little
the best way
lackluster,
to,
buddy. A
way
little
to
weird and
describe it.
lackluster. Yep. Okay, well, we'll see you after this after halftime, where we're going to get ourselves some buffalo chicken dip, and we're going to do our sponsored by Taste Test.
All right.
See you then. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second half of this fine Thursday night soccer game we got going on here. And that's putting it nicely. In any case, your Peters Township Indians are taking on the Connellsville Falcons here with the score 2-0 at halftime. Not quite the beginning that you might have thought Peters Township would have had in this game. Maybe not really playing up to their standards. It'll be interesting to see what happens, what Bobby said in the halftime huddle there. What do you see out there, Connor? What do we got going on as far as contrast with the first half? Anything?
Only changes I see are Braden Apple looked to be walking around with a bag of ice on his lower right leg, I believe it was. So that little knock he picked up at the first half, no sense risking him in this one. Looks like Bobby's going to end his night at halftime. And then Rocco Antonucci comes in goal. This is his first varsity time of the season. I believe he got a couple minutes in these types of games last year, so I don't think it's his first varsity time ever, but certainly his first minutes of the season, and so he'll be looking to be calm, composed, and keep the clean sheet back there.
Okay. Okay, so Connellsville with a throw-in and right back out for a Peters Township throw. So let's see if Peters can come out striking here or what's going to happen. Mello gets his foot on the ball. Froelich back to Mello. Mello's got one man to beat. Well, two men to beat now. He passes off to Sauter, Jake Sauter. Brady Rose. Connor Glass. Mello. Sauter misses. Ball rolls out for a White throw. Sauter
You
again
can
with the
see-
ball.
You can see Sauter just playing a little bit tight right now, knows that this is his chance to really impress the staff if he wants to keep getting these minutes. And you can see he's just playing, just thinking a little bit too much and just being a little bit of a step slow on these decisions. That's something he's going to want to just speed up a little bit and simplify his game. That's what you want to do in those sorts of spots. You don't want to try and do too much. Just take the game one touch at a time, one pass, and just sort of simplify.
All right, so Anthony Maiello does win the corner kick. Cole Celedonia to take it. Cole puts it up all the way across the box and out, where Cam Glass is going to corral it, kick it back. That was not Cam. Who is that out there?
33 is Colby with that little bit of deceptive speed to get to the ball and win it. And then I think that was Connor Glass, who was the other man out there before it gets called offside. I think that's on Celedonia.
Gotcha. Okay, so your second half brought to you by Buffalo Chicken Dip. Connor, do we know who made the Buffalo Chicken Dip this fine evening?
We are still awaiting the results from my little query onto who made the Buffalo Chicken Dip tonight. I can assume safely that it is not one of the people who has made it so far this season due to a texture difference in what we've seen. This one's
interesting.
A little more chicken heavy and looks to be a little bit lighter on the Frank's Red Hot, a little bit more heavy on the cream cheese due to its lighter color.
Okay, so I'm to assume then that you've already sampled this taste-wise, not just visually, because I can tell visually it's a little creamier for sure.
I've not had a chip with the dip. I've had a chip that had a little bit of dip on it, but I wouldn't exactly call it a sample.
Okay, I get it. So you're not cheating. I'm not going to accuse you of anything here, but let's go ahead and do our taste test. Well, Peters Township, Connor Glass gets his foot on the ball and the ball's bouncing around. We're going to take this moment to do our second half Buffalo Chicken Dip taste test. Without further ado. Pretty decent. I'm liking that all right.
You can definitely taste the Frank's Red Hot in there. Very present on the spice. Doesn't wait until sort of that second wave like a lot of Buffalo Chicken Dips do.
True. A little mild, not, I could stand a little bit more kick in there, but I appreciate that for the people who, can't handle the spice.
I think we go solid 7 today.
Yeah.
Solid 7.
I'm with you on a solid 7. And we'll find out who made that one. Definitely, certainly better than I would have made. I'm going to enjoy it thoroughly.
Every second half, Buffalo Chicken Dip.
So Cam Glass with his foot on the ball, getting it up to Anthony Maiello. Anthony looking for his buddy Froelich. But instead, he's going to take it himself. He wants one. He's just going to dribble through and almost does.
Just missed the run from Froelich there, and just the body position wasn't right to find him. Really unlucky there from Anthony Maiello. Not sure he could have really done much different to find Froelich originally there, but just a little bit unlucky with how the body position worked out. Couldn't see him, and even if he did see him, didn't really have the space under his feet to get the shape on that it would have required.
So Cam Glass draws the foul. Free kick for Peters Township. Mr. Zimmer going to take this. He's putting the ball up into play in dangerous area. And, Peters Township with their third goal. Didn't quite see who got their foot on it finally.
Finished by either Rose or Froelich.
Okay.
I'm thinking Rose.
Yeah, it looks like Brady. I'm thinking that too. Luke Evans went up to give him a handshake there.
Defensive goal scored by Brady Rose.
Okay, so they've got their third. So you got to figure maybe, this is kind of maybe Peters is going to start putting this game away here. Cole Selly with the throw in to Anthony Maiello. Cam Glass on the ball now. Cam looking. Gets it back out to Cole on the wing. Ball taken off and kicked out of bounds by the Falcons. Nope. Well, yep. Zimmer with the throw. Froelich on the ball. Connellsville number 4 putting some moves on, but unable to get past Brady Rose. And a throw in.
You'd think probably one more goal here for Peters Township, get the score up to 4, and then Bobby starts looking down the bench to get the starters out, stop the injury risk, and games out of reach, just pull the train into the state. Oh, Brady Rose, unfortunate tumble there.
Looking up into the lights and got his feet tangled up underneath him. Happens to the best of us. Cam Glass kicking it up the line and ball out of play. Connellsville throw. Yeah, I would agree. I would think the next one they'd start making some changes. Still not entirely as solid as you would like to see it, but, you know, maybe that's just not going to happen. Seems like just still a little bit of sloppy play out there on the Peters Township part. Froelich gets it out to Sully. Froelich looking to get across into Mello, but instead it gets taken off him by one of the defensive Falcons. Falcons still in possession here. Okay, now on the attack officially. And ball out to the far corner. Let's see if number 15 can get to it, but no. So Peters Township will get the throw in. The throw. Cam Glass trying to kick it up the field. Looks like it did come off. Connellsville player.
And still, even after that third goal, just doesn't seem wholly emphatic from Peters Township tonight. Just this performance leaving a little bit to be desired in terms of just that ability to finish them off. Getting a goal, getting them back on their heels, and then it just feels like the goals that have gone in have almost put Peters Township back into sort of that sitting back thinking that the game is won rather than going out to try and finish them off and deliver that sort of final blow.
Yeah, you keep thinking that when the goal goes in, you know, there's going to be 2 or 3 coming right after it, but that is just not the way it's been going. It does. It feels like they just kind of settle back into a sort of lagging kind of energy here for whatever reason, and, you know, could just be that they're all kind of tired from this crazy, you know, fast-paced season that they've had so far. And now Connellsville trying to get something going here. Nice ball up to their striker, but kicked out easily by Luke Evans. Number 5 now on the ball. Connellsville coming into Peters Township territory. Number 4 looking to get something on it. Well, called for foul. Brady Rose goes down, and that's a yellow card for number 17 on Connellsville Falcons.
Feels a little harsh for a yellow card there. Just looked like it coming together, and if one of those 2 players was going to get booked, I would have booked the initial sort of slide challenge that knocked Brady to the ground, but 17 I feel like has a right to feel a little bit hard done by that decision.
Yeah, definitely a little soft. Okay, ball up into play. Cam Glass with his head on it. And Cam fighting again. You get the feel maybe Cam wants one here. He's in the vicinity. Instead, he skirts it through. Number 18, Sauter, tries to get it right into Mello, and he almost does. But Connellsville has the heads-up awareness to get it out of there before they can make something happen. Connor Glass now with the throw in, and he'll get another one here. Connor going for Mello. Mello kicks it back to Connor. Connor's going to chip it up into the air. Only white shirts there. But Mello's going to turn this, and he's going to shoot it. Deflected, and then kicked way out of bounds. So again, Peters just kind of struggling to really get something that looks too good here against Connellsville. And, you know, Connellsville, for their part, is not giving up here. So goalkeeper calls his players off. and picks up that ball, and now he's going to reset. Luke Evans kicking it, and they call it for Peters, so good work by Luke to keep that ball. Connor Glass throwing it in, up to Mello. Mello turning it up and fighting through. Here's a second man. He gets it to Froelich. Froelich back to Mello. Back to Froelich. Back to Mello. Nope. Froelich tried to do a little back heel pass to Anthony.
And you could hear the coaching staff was not thrilled with that decision by Anthony. They're looking to just, at this point in the game, keep it simple. Really just game's just getting a little bit to that point for Peters Township where it's not quite so far out of reach that you feel really confident taking these starters out, but at the same time you feel like it's just gotten a little bit stale and you need some fresh blood to come in. I'd look for Charlie Lulich and Nathan to come back in again sometime in the next probably
here
5
goes
minutes.
Anthony. He's really going to want something here. Off to Sauter. Sauter looking. Gets it out to Froelich. Comes off Sauter and goes out of bounds. So, nope. Came off the white player. But now it's out on Peters, so it'll be a throw in for the Falcons. Yeah, I agree. Stale is a good word for what we're seeing here. Just nothing too spicy about this game right now. Connor Glass with the ball. Maybe he wants one. He does. Does he just went on through? Yeah, just for a goal kick. Okay.
It's Connor Glass's first shot of the game. He is now the 12th Indian to take a shot in this contest.
Okay, so we have, is this Jake coming back on? Is that number 4?
Looks to be Jake coming on for Colin Freilich here.
Okay, Jake Gwynn is coming back, getting into the game. He showed some good stuff the first half, so let's see if he can be a spark here in the midfield. Brady Rose fighting for this one, trying to turn the corner. Actually gets the ball taken off him, but no, that's called for a foul on Connellsville. So Peters kind of gets away with something there.
Yeah, you hate to say it, but a little bit of a bailout for Brady Rose there. Just sort of dribbled himself into a corner and a little bit fortunate to have been fouled in that process.
Yep. Ball down. Mello gets a foot on it, gets control. He chips it over to Sauter. Sauter's going to let it go out for a corner. Cole Celadoni trotting over to take this kick now. Celly teeing it up, arm up, ball in. Pretty decent delivery, and Mello turns it and scores. So, again, I mean, it's kind of stale and sort of, energetically down as this game has been. They're still managing to score, but even that score just looked like, wow, a little lackluster or something.
Just the sort of goal that you feel, you look at and you go, it's the sort of goal that could be scored really only in this type of game.
Yeah.
Where Connellsville now being 3, now 4 goals down, just doesn't have that step to the ball anymore, where I feel like this game's only prone to get a little bit more stale and lack that energy now, as neither team has anything to play for at this point. Results decided, and Peters Township really just playing not to get hurt now.
Cam Glass with the ball. Gets it out to Jake. Connor Glass. Connor keeping it. Connor puts it in the box. And nice save by Connellsville goaltender. But ball still in dangerous area. I believe this is Selly out there. He's looking to get a cross in and does. And, almost gets tapped in there. Not sure if that was Cam Glass there that almost had a tap in towards the goal. So, yeah, I mean, if this game gets any more stale, you know what, Connor? We're going to have to start singing songs or something to keep the entertainment going.
Yeah, in the week building up to this one, I had the thought a number of times that we might be getting a little short on things to analyze, especially into the second half, and I think we're getting pretty close to that point now.
Yeah. Yeah, what do the pros do when they have those really boring games, you know, those Steelers games that are just, like, super boring? What do they start talking about?
Well, I've been attempting to find out the out-of-town scoreboard, but the booster clubs that are section rivals are slacking a little bit on the social media, and Upper St. Clair hasn't posted since they posted the starting 11 more than an hour ago. I couldn't find a soccer page for Mount Lebanon. Cannon Max hasn't been updated since November of 2024. Between Lebo and Canamac. And thank you, Mr. Evans, calling from the other side of the press box with an update of 1-1 at the half between Mount Lebanon and Cannon McMillan. Really, really big game there for the Indians' hopes of a section title. In fact, you really feel the best outcome there would be a draw for Peters Township. Steals a win from both teams, and especially getting Cannon Mac at home is big, but that return leg against Mount Lebanon, what wasn't a hugely comfortable victory at home in a chippy game. You never want to go to the Mount Lebanon Stadium needing a result because wild black magic happens there.
Yeah, that's true. So Peters Township made a big change here. Lots of fresh faces coming in. I didn't quite catch all of them. I'm thinking Luke Martin is over there on the far side now. Just got his first touch on that ball. And a few more players that came in. Let's see if I can pick them out for you here.
Nick Schieffer wearing 24 in the midfield. We've got Lucas Martin out on that side. Colby's still in. Here's to Sauter. Is that Celedonia, who's now playing the 9?
Yep.
Connor Glass still in. Jake's
I feel
still
like
in.
3 people came on, but
Schieffer, Lucas, and
oh,
was it Celedonia?
So Cole and 24, is it?
Yeah, Nick Schieffer, number
Nick
24. I
Schieffer?
believe he
Okay,
is
so
a sophomore.
They collided out there, kind of got in each other's way, unfortunately, but that'll happen. Everyone's out there trying to make a play.
Yeah. Unfortunate offsides there, just unlucky getting caught near the end line, and just a little bit of a respite in this one, which feels like we've had a lot of respites in this game.
Yeah.
It sort of comes with the territory of these types of matchups, and that's not something you want to see.
Jake kind of limping out of that play a little bit. Got a little bit of a stinger. Hopefully he can just shake that off. Looks like he's running it out. Now here comes Connellsville on the attack. Let's see if they can get something here. And he tees it up for number 4. Number 4 puts it up. Oh, my goodness. And Connellsville. Wow. Okay, really close stuff. Connellsville almost got that past our goaltender. And I'm sorry, tell me again the goaltender's name here.
Rocco Annucci wearing 00. He is a junior.
Okay, so Rocco kind of gets a little bit fortunate there. He didn't play that too bad, but Connellsville came at him with a nice attempt there and almost got something out of it. But nothing doing, and so the 4-0 stays. And we got a bunch of players now for Peters coming in again.
I'm just going to wait until the dust sort of settles in the formation to try and figure it out. Because under these lights, especially with the numbers not providing the contrast they once did, I don't know if I'm going to be able to parse this out all while they're coming onto the field.
Tell you Tanner Weiss. I recognize him. He's coming out. He's playing kind of on this side of the field. Looks like as a left back. Other than that, I'm not quite sure of some of these other guys. We will inform you as we get the information ourselves. Until then, we'll just go with the numbers.
And Mr. Kelly, regretfully, my stat sheet only has spots for the varsity players and swing players. So JV guys who are called up, I don't have the numbers and names. So players like number 49 who just went into a challenge there, I regretfully do not know their name to correspond with the number.
All right, well, that's all right. We won't hold it against you. I certainly don't know the names either. And I'm sure they will make their names known throughout the years now as they're here and they're getting time out here on the varsity field. As young players, it's definitely what you want to see. And so far, so good. Ball moving up the field now for Peters. Number 49. Getting it up to Sauter, I believe, who is still out there, 18. They're kind of playing center now. All right, so good job to clear that ball out by Peters Township. It'd be a Connellsville throw. Ball in. Ball out for, they called it for Peters' throw now. Yeah, ball just really bouncing around out there on the far sideline.
Now with these JV players coming in, really good to get their experience on the varsity field, get those first minutes, those sort of varsity jitters out of the way in a game like this, where really at this point both sides aren't real. Connellsville will look for a really good goal by Connellsville. A really good shot, well placed, and
yeah, that was a really good strike. Nothing really our goalkeeper could do about that one, and well, I don't mind seeing that from that team. I mean, they've been fighting pretty hard, and Peters Township hasn't been putting this game away like you maybe would have thought. So Connellsville earned one. There it is. Now, if they were to come back and get a second one, does Bobby start changing things up again?
I think if they get one more back here, then the JV guys will have lost their trust being out there, and I think the starter, not just the varsity reserves, I think it will be the starters coming back on to ensure that this game doesn't get any closer than that.
Gotcha.
We're inside of 18 minutes to go here. Just really weird. I know I've said it a number of times. Just a really weird feeling about this game. One of those days where it felt like the result was predetermined, but you want to see a little bit more encouragement from the performance. And I think that's something that Bobby's really, really going to impart on this team before next week they open with a really difficult road game that's really, really important for this section season, and Tuesday night at Upper St. Clair.
And let's talk about that for a second. How is Upper St. Clair doing this season? They're struggling a little bit, I hear.
Upper St. Clair having a down year as a program, but really with the Big Four in Quad A South, even programs in a down year can spring a result on you if you're not playing your best, and especially being Peters Township and really being the standard bearer in this section. You get every team's best every time you play them. So
yeah,
a performance that's subpar or isn't up to snuff against Upper St. Clair really could be a missed opportunity to set a marker and go through assuming that Woodland Hills is the result that we assume it will be, a perfect first half of the section season.
Yep. Okay, so free kick for Peters. Ball in off the head of Connellsville Falcons. So we'll have a throw in here. And looks like Zach Keaton coming back in for a little bit. This is his first appearance in the second half, coming in for Jake Sauter.
Yeah, Caleb is one of those guys who he's been looking to get a little bit more time through the season, was given the start by Bob tonight, and was just looking to show something to try and earn those minutes through the rest of the season. So we'll see how Bobby interpreted his performance tonight, and as we go looking forward, where later in the section season, sometimes you do have to get a little farther down that bench than you've been the first couple weeks of the season.
Gotcha. Caleb, I apologize to you. I was calling you Jake. Don't know why. You'll have to excuse an old man. Okay, so number 4 for Connellsville, who's been playing pretty strong all night, actually. Now Keaton with the ball. Keaton getting it. He's going to pass it out to Lucas Martin. Luke coming in. He's looking. And he tries to sneak it through. I think he was hoping Keaton would make that run there, but they weren't really on the same page.
Just a little too heavy there. Right idea. Sees that Keaton's making that run, but just overcooks the pass a little bit, and really difficult for Keaton to make the play there. I'd say probably impossible. Just unfortunate. 2 guys on the same page, just a little bit different in the execution.
Connellsville on the move. Too much on that ball. Going to go out for a throw. Tanner Weiss with the throw. He's going to get it all the way up to Keaton. Keaton's going to try to push through there. Another throw in for Peters. Tanner Weiss. Number 40. Kicks it up to Connellsville player. Now we're just kicking it up in the air. The sort of ball you'd expect to see from some of the players who don't have as much experience out there. That's all right. Do you remember your first experience playing on the varsity?
I do remember my first experience playing on the varsity field. We were up, I believe when I went in, it was 7-0 at Baldwin in their final season as a Quad A team before they dropped to 3A due to enrollment. And I got in, was playing center. I'd been a center back for the past 4 or 5 years of my both club and high school career. And Bobby puts me in and tells me I'm playing the 10, which is one of the things that these players out there, you don't really care where you're on the varsity field. You just care that you're out there.
Yeah.
And he puts me in at the 10, and my first time I get the ball, I was thinking it was a JV speed game, and I go to take a touch and just get blown up from behind.
Yep.
Just one of those tackles where you think, it's like I assume watching it would have been like a car crash where you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You just can't look away. And then, if I remember correctly, I then left that game about 10 minutes later due to asthmatic issues with my breathing. So that was a real banner night for me on my varsity debut.
Oh, gotcha. Well, see that. You got to start somewhere, though, right?
Absolutely, and that's where all these players who are out here, whether they're seeing the field for the first time on varsity or whether they're making their season debuts on it tonight, that's one of those things that these games are, as much as we've been a little bit disillusioned by the performance and lack of sharpness tonight, if there's a night to make mistakes, especially for these players who are just getting out onto the varsity field for the first time all season, if there's a place to make mistakes, it's in these games. You'd rather them make mistakes against Connellsville as a sophomore than in the final minutes of Cannon Mac as a senior.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's good stuff. You got to have these games. They aren't always the most fun and enjoyable to watch, but they are necessary and part of the growth. Now, Keaton's trying to fight for this and trying to get something, and it looks like he does win the corner.
And the goalposts do partially move here as you sort of change your expectation as the JV guys come on. You're not looking for them to put up 5, 6, 7 goals like you are from your starters. You're looking to just see who has that bit of composure, who's able to play with that varsity speed. And even against teams like Connellsville and Woodland Hills, Alderdice is the one that stuck out to me from my playing days back when they were in our section as well. Just really difficult for a player on JV to be sitting on the bench for 60 minutes, especially typically. I don't believe Connellsville had a junior varsity team, but typically you play a game in junior varsity, you get yanked pretty early because you're one of the better JV players, and then you got to sit around for 90 minutes waiting for your chance to step out on the varsity field, and after you're not warm, you've been cooled down, and really just difficult to turn it back on, and that's what the coaching staff's looking for here.
Yeah. So when we have a Connellsville player coming off with a cramp, Tanner Weiss had a nice slide tackle to get it out for a throw in. Connellsville.
Looked a little hard
Keaton
done
Kelly
to
on
give
the ball.
throw into Connellsville there. I think Tanner did well to win the ball and get the deflection, but referee saw it differently. And at this point in the game, not much sense in arguing those types.
So almost a second goal there for Connellsville. Ball bouncing in very dangerous territory. Rocco does really good to corral it. Ball doing a lot of bouncing on the ground, which I know is typically not what you want to see at the high school level. Is that right?
Exactly.
Always sounds like, I always hear the coaches saying, first or second bounce or whatever, they want those heads on the ball, right?
They want to win those first and second balls, and just one of the things it looks like is the definite difference with all this pinball. Game starts to look a little bit more like those junior varsity games that typically precede the main events in high school, where even among the best junior varsity teams in the section where Peters plays, Mount Lebanon, Canon-Mac, Upper St. Clair, just that level has a little bit more of that bouncing around, that pinball, which to be expected with these players who have been playing like that. But that's one of the things that Bobby really preaches, is he wants to be able to see when you step up here who can play that varsity style of soccer. And I remember my sophomore year as ball's bouncing around here, and a second.
Yeah, it did look like it crossed the line, and it did.
A second here in Connellsville. Now, Bobby might look to go to his bench and get the starters back in with 9 minutes to go. This game feels just like it's slipping away from Peters Township a little bit. Little bit of a complaint from Rocco there. Didn't think it crossed the line fully, but when you play with fire, you're going to get burned, and Peters Township finding that out the hard way today.
Yeah, so he's got his whole bench now up there. The starters are warming up again, so
you have to think they'll be coming back in, where, as I said earlier, just you go out there with the expectation of don't let it get closer. You don't have to score. You just can't let it get worse. And Bobby probably, as a result of this game, you'd have to think later in the season against Woodland Hills or the return leg at Connellsville in a couple weeks, maybe might want a little bit more of a cushion before he goes to take the starters out. Just a really, really weird and lackluster day from top to bottom from Peters Township here. 4-2 is not the scoreline that they will have been looking to come out of here with.
no. Number 5 with the ball, turning the corner. Getting it down. Bounces right back to him, and he's trying to find someone in the middle. But Peters clears. Tanner Weiss again on the ball. I see Tanner Weiss as someone that'll move up fairly quickly through the ranks, I would think.
Absolutely.
He's got the size. He's also got the pedigree, obviously, with his brothers playing on the varsity teams.
Absolutely. Looking like as the entire starting lineup checks back into this one, feel the result, even with the junior varsity squad out there, the result felt safe, but not the encouraging signs that you would have been looking for from this one in really all regards, even before the junior varsity guys get out there.
Yeah, so with 17:22 to go in this game, basically Peters now is just trying to ensure that they get out of here with a secure win. Not really too much question of that, but with 2 unanswered goals now by Connellsville, you never know what can happen.
Yeah, clock stopped with 7:07 left here, and looks like Connellsville wanted a foul away from the ball there. Didn't get it. Don't seem particularly happy about not getting it. And now as a Peters Township, really fan first, commentator second, I'd take the final whistle right now. Just let it sort of get out. With the starters out there and the game's temperature starting to rise, you really don't want to see anyone get hurt in a game like this.
Yeah, agreed with that. So Anthony goes up for the ball, but gets called for a foul, so ball back down, and Connellsville on the move. Colin Exley clears it out.
Now you can see Coach Dyer stood back up again, which is never a great sign when he sits down in these sorts of games. He's sort of, I don't want to say hanging it up for the day, but sort of feeling that game's secure and done, and he's back on his feet, and that not what you want to see. 15th save of the night there from this Connellsville goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's had quite the evening for sure. Froelich looking to get something going here. Connor Glass kicking it to the white team, but booted back. Looks like Charlie out there getting it up to Anthony. Anthony just putting his body into that player, number 18, down on the ground. Calling for something there. Ref is going to his pocket.
Oh.
Yellow cards the goaltender.
Goalkeeper. That's for dissent. That was you could hear even from up here. We could hear the goalkeeper.
Did you hear what he said?
Earlier I heard him say things along the lines of "ref watch the game," and I could hear his voice. I couldn't make out any of the words, and now Connellsville are going to have to put in an emergency goalkeeper for the last 5:48.
Okay, so they've got number 26 that was out there definitely playing around the field. Now he's going back in, and he's going to play goaltender for a while. He doesn't have the size of the guy in pink. Let's see if he's got the hands. He will get peppered a few times before this night is through, I would think. We've got 5:48 to play. And we're giving him a chance to put those gloves on. Never easy to get those goalie gloves on under pressure, is it?
No, especially as you know that clock stopped waiting for you, and that dexterity goes a little bit when you're under that sort of pressure.
It
It's like
sure does.
trying to do it in the cold of winter.
Sure does. So ball in. Connor Glass, head on his ball. Okay, pushing the back. So kick for the Falcons now.
And as we're down, approaching 5.5 minutes to go here, again, I know I've said it a number of times. You just want this one to be over. You want to get out of here with the 3 points and take the lessons.
Frederick getting his head on the ball to get it out of imminent danger. Cole Celedonia going to take it up the wing. Cole boots it up to Maiello. Nice ball to Anthony. Anthony racing.
Easily wins the foot race.
Yep, and he gets it into. Oh, my goodness. Oh, what a save from the new goaltender that just came in. How did he get that? That looked like a surefire goal right there.
Was that Lulich on the shot?
You know, I think maybe it was. I didn't see who finally got their last foot on it. It went to Froelich. Froelich kind of looked like he wanted to do a little tap in, but it actually ended up being more of a pass to, let's go ahead and say it was Charlie. Charlie got his foot on it, but somehow the man in the yellow penny out there was right where he needed to be. So good job for him, but it goes out for a Peters Township corner kick. And let's see if Peters can really put this one away. Ball up, head on, and over.
From Glass, was it?
I think that's right. I did look like Cam got his head up on that.
He's led the team in shots today with 6. Maiello second in shots with 5, and then a whole bunch of players reporting in with 3 beneath. Rose with 3, Braden Apple with 3, Connor Glass with 3, and Colin Froelich with 3. My apologies.
So Nathan back in the game, earning his minutes, having scored that goal in the first half. Takes over for Selly. Oh, Connellsville player down. Froelich off to the races.
Inside of 4 to go now as he plays that ball through.
That's Charlie out there. And ball headed off for a corner kick. So I'll take this opportunity in the last 3 minutes and 27 seconds of this game to thank our audiovisual specialists. We have Sasha Erb on audio. Thanks, Sasha. Sounds great. And Charlie Adcock on camera. And that ball is an own goal.
Behind.
Ah. Well, there you go. Not exactly what Connellsville wanted to see in the last few minutes here, but sometimes that's the way the ball bounces, right?
Absolutely. Connor Glassell, on a better day, would have been looking to count that as his own, but I think on a day like today, nobody's going to be really in the spirits to fight about whether an own goal should be an own goal or go to the guy who shot the original.
Gotcha. Also like to thank Mr. Evans tonight for doing the live announcement.
And our out-of-town scoreboard update of 1-1 at the half.
Yes, thank you for that.
And that foul there, you feel like more a product of the situation than anything Colin did. Got the timing pretty much bang on in that challenge. Just sort of the reaction of the Connellsville player and the situation that the game's at. You feel like that's what really prompted the whistle there.
Luke Evans hits it out of immediate danger, and now Anthony just going to chase this one until number 6 on the white has to kick it out of bounds. Connor Glass with a throw in. Maielo's head. Ball just booted up into the sky. And then a little pushing and shoving going on down there. Yellow card goes to Froelich. So Froelich off to take his 5-minute break. And we've got Cole Celedonia coming right back on.
We're down to the final 2:05 here, and just again, a game that really seems like, especially with how the last 10 minutes or so have been managed, both teams really seem like they would just be happy to get out of here, and game's decided. Nobody wants any injuries, and
yeah, you don't feel like Connellsville is really fighting that hard at this point.
no, both teams have sort of settled in, and I know we wanted that urgency earlier, but here I feel like I'd much rather just see the game out at 5-2 and nobody getting hurt.
Agreed. Okay, so Nathan and Connor Glass kind of congregate on a white player there and get called for the foul. So down to minute 20, Connellsville getting a free kick.
Barring another shot here from Peters Township, final total is going to be 32 shots, resulting in 16 saves between the two Connellsville keepers, 4 goals and an own goal, 15 saves from the original Connellsville goalkeeper, number 16. Had made some really good stops in this one, but also some stops that Peters Township wished they could have tested them a little bit more on. And then the substitute goalkeeper coming up with a save out of a hat that just, you really expected it to be a goal, and fair play to him for standing tall and making the save when his team needed it.
Lulich back to Maiello. Anthony booting it all the way up to, I think, Nathan over. No, maybe that's Jake over on the far side. I can't quite see.
I think that is Nathan, and down into the final 10 seconds. Our final score from Confluence Financial Partners Stadium tonight will be the Peters Township Indians 5, Connellsville Falcons 2, and Peters Township retains its lead at the top of Whitfield Quad A Section South as we await the out-of-town results tonight.
All right, Connor. Well, we'll see you back here next Thursday, correct?
Indeed we will.
All right, everyone, have a good night.